Hot girl summer is out and rich minimalist summer is in. Seriously, you need to stop listening to the influencer girlies and looksmaxxers out there, because if you do, you're buying a one-way ticket to staying broke, insecure, and unhappy forever.
I heard someone say that lazy people are ugly, and I kind of agree.
I've spent the last 13 years obsessing over how to be hot.
Here are some of my favorite viral Amazon summer finds.
And some of y'all need more whimsy.
Look how cute okay, I do not own these, but I'm getting them because I think I need them.
But on the other hand, if you listen to me, your minimalist BFF or auntie, depending on how old you are, I'll teach you how to spot BS sales pitches and scams designed as helpful advice, and how to align your spending with your values and the things that matter most in life through the principles of minimalism and intentional spending. As we dive into this list of 10 things I'm not buying this summer and why I think that you should avoid them as well. Let's dive in. Hi there, friend, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa, and this is A to Zen Life, where we talk about the A to Z of simplifying your way to a happier, richer, and better life. So be sure and hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications if you haven't already, if that sounds like your jam. And let's dive into this list of summer trends to avoid in 2026, starting with number 1 on this list, which is all of the hot girl summer essentials. And this is a trend that always seems to go viral every year before summer. And if you've blissfully never heard of hot girl summer, here's a little taste of what that means.
Must-have items for summer that I cannot live without. And you might not have thought about all of these things, so use this video as your summer checklist.
It Girl summer must-haves from Ulta Beauty, so that we're looking our hottest we can this summer. Let's go.
I heard someone say that lazy people are ugly, and I kind of agree. If you want to be hot, you need to be doing self-care. You need to be putting time, effort, and attention into yourself, into your body, into your mental health, so you can be your best, most stunning, beautiful, hot, glowing self. You already know I have a list, and I will let you guys screenshot at the end, so let's get into it.
Now, on the surface, it might look like hot girl summer is all about fun in the sun and chilling by the pool and leaning into beachy vibes and embracing your inner mermaid, all of which I actually love. But what I don't love is how a lot of these videos act like chasing physical attractiveness, or looksmaxxing as it's being called nowadays, is the pinnacle of success and almost always turns into a sales pitch for all of the must-have essentials that you should buy to achieve that. And case in point, let's take a look at this video here together.
Bestie boo. I just created the perfect list of things that you need for hot girl summer. I'm not a gatekeeper, and these are things that I love that either make my life easier or make me feel cuter, or both. Let's get into it. Sunscreen mist literally changes my life. You could put it on just over your makeup and you don't have to touch your face. Amazing. If you're one of those girlies that likes to go no makeup in the summer, I love these bronzing drops. I literally have them right here. I use them every day. They just add a little bit of bronze to your skin. You don't need to wear foundation or anything else. Look how cute okay, I do not own these, but I'm getting them because I think I need them. How hot girl summer is it to use disposable cameras instead of taking a million photos on your phone and just enjoying the moment? I want to use these so bad. And then you have cute little film photos. Oh my gosh. And you know they're always cuter than the iPhone pics. Benetton might be my actual favorite makeup product for the summer because it literally does not feel like you're wearing anything. And you can wear it on your lips and your cheeks. It is so good. Look, it's literally like a water stain.
I have a summer drinking game idea. Watch this video and take a drink every time she says the word literally.
Perfume-wise, it is life-changing. Imagine getting out of the water and you're all salty and gross, but then you put on some hair perfume. Then you can resume your hot girl summer and not smell like a seaweed particle. Having cute towels and investing in cute towels has literally changed my mood completely. For the longest time, I was just using my family's towels at home that are Nemo from when I was 5 years old, but this is elevated. We don't want to prune up, okay? Get an After Sun body butter. Wave spray is the best hair product for the summer because you just put it in and wear your hair natural. Did you know they make scalp sunscreen? Okay, I have not tried this, but TikTok makes me want to try it. It looks so cool. Thank me later. And let me know if you guys have any hacks for hot girl summer.
Okay, so obviously that video was a lot. There was a lot of energy, there was a lot of hand gesturing going on, and also a lot of products being thrown at us. So I thought it might be interesting to do a cost breakdown and see what were all of the products that she was recommending in that video and how much it would cost you if you just took her at her word and went out and got those things. So I went through every single product that she talked about and I wrote them down, and then I went and I looked for the lowest price that I could find it. So the first product that she recommended was Sun Bum Sunscreen Mist. And I don't have any problem with this recommendation necessarily. I think that it is important for you to wear sunscreen when you go out in the sun to have skin protection and whatnot. The only thing I will say about mist is there's some questions about whether aerosol sunscreen is bad for your lungs because you can potentially inhale the particles, especially when you're spraying it on your face. And I've also found that you have to be really careful where you apply it. And if possible, it's best to apply it maybe outside a little bit before you go out because it needs like 10 or 15 minutes to kind of set and get activated. Because if you spray it in the bathroom, I learned the hard way that it leaves this gross film on your sink and your toilets and your floor and whatnot, and it's actually really hard to clean up. So just keep that in mind if you do decide to use a spray mist. So that Sun Bum Mist was $14.99. And then after the sunscreen mist, we had some nano bronzing drops, which were $13.49. And I wouldn't necessarily call bronzing drops an essential. In fact, that's something that I completely cut out of my skin and beauty routine as a minimalist. But I guess if you're someone who likes having this kind of sun bronzed look, then you could try these. I'm not super familiar with this product, obviously. The flower hair clips, I found a bunch of different kinds that were very similar for $8.99. And I thought what was funny was that she doesn't even own them, but she's still recommending them to you as an essential. And I find that a lot of influencers on TikTok especially will do this, where they'll just rattle off a list of things and then they'll link to those things as affiliate products in their TikTok shop or whatever it is, so that they can sell them to you without having ever even tried them. Again, this is something I wouldn't really call an essential because I think that it's very seasonal. I don't think that you're going to wear this throughout the year, probably only for spring and summer, if that. And there's a high likelihood that you'll probably use this once or twice and then just end up tossing it because it's actually not that versatile. Next up, she talked about the Kodak disposable camera, and that is around $35. And my argument for why you shouldn't buy this is, why not just use the camera that's already on your phone? Or in all likelihood, you probably have other cameras sitting around your house. So it's always better to use what you already have versus going out and buying something new. Next up, there was the Benetint lip and cheek stain that is around $28. Again, if this is a product that you have actually used before and you like tint stains, then maybe you consider it, but that's another thing I've cut out from my routine personally, so it's not something that I would be interested in purchasing. But what surprised me was this hair perfume that she called Essential the Next, because the price tag on this that I found for that particular version that she had was $159, and I could not imagine paying that much money for some hair perfume just to make my hair smell a little bit nicer after you come out of the ocean. Pink striped towels, $21. Hawaiian tropic body butter, $10.99. Wave spray, $16. I have a problem with this where she says, oh, you can just spray it in and it'll naturally make your hair look good. My hair is stick straight and has no wave whatsoever. And I tried so many products like this in the past and they did nothing, absolutely nothing for my hair. So just keep that in mind, that all of us have such different skin and hair types that just because this does something for someone else's hair doesn't mean it's going to work on your hair and be this holy grail product. Scalp sunscreen was $26.50 and On The Go blush was $18. This is another one of those things you notice she said she didn't actually have. And what's interesting is I couldn't really find the exact same product that she was even talking about, except on a bulk drop shipping warehouse type store. I think it was like Alibaba or something like that, where you bulk order these things. So I'm wondering if this is just like people bulk ordering and then selling these white labeled products, is something that they do on TikTok. I did find a different kind, more available at Target and whatnot, and that was $18. So all in all, that brings us to a grand total of $351.86 without tax. And that's just one list from one influencer that we've looked at. Imagine if you're consuming a lot of content from multiple influencers who are talking about this topic, and because you like them and you trust their recommendations, you go out and you buy a bunch of these things without asking yourself, does this really fit my lifestyle, my skin type, my hair type, my values? Not to mention, do I have the budget for it? Because I think you can see how buying into all of these hot girl summer essentials would add up and become really, really expensive over time. But expense alone isn't the only issue, because what about all of the time and mental energy that you're spending chasing these somewhat toxic beauty standards, if we're being honest here, trying to chase this aesthetic?
The hottest girls you know are not lucky, they've just been trained. Being hot is a skill and skills can be taught. Welcome to Hot Girl School. Hi, my name's Sydney. I've spent the last 13 years obsessing over how to be hot.
She says she spent the last 13 years obsessing over how to be hot.
I have watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of YouTube videos, tried every treatment, and spent way more money than I ever cared to admit just trying to figure this out. Lasers, surgeries, even tattooing my face. You name it, I've tried it. And after all this work, finally ready to hand you the Hot Girl cheat code. Because I know there are women out there who want to feel their absolute best on the inside and the outside, but just don't know where to start or have time to figure it out. I can guarantee that if you follow this series, you will be hotter than when you started. Starting tomorrow, class is officially in session. I'll see you there.
So after spending 13 years obsessing over what makes someone hot and tons of money on even medical procedures and surgery and tattoos, she's going to teach you all that stuff, huh? Something else that I've noticed in a lot of these videos is something I'd like to call the language of overconsumption. And maybe it's because I come from a background in speech language pathology, where I studied the brain and neurology and neuropsychology and language. And one thing I've seen a lot of the influencers say in these videos is how they're a girl's girl and they're not going to gatekeep. So anytime you see, I don't gatekeep or I'm not gatekeeping, that's a good sign that you're about to be sold something. So let me show you what I mean in this video.
Hot girls are not gatekeeping this summer. Here are 10 must-have products for the summer. Obviously, none of this is sponsored, just stuff I really love.
Okay, so when she says, obviously none of this is sponsored, it's just stuff I really love, while those brands aren't paying her to recommend their products, she's linking all of the things that she's talking about so that she will earn an affiliate commission from those things. And I don't think that people on TikTok and Instagram realize just how rampant this kind of behavior is, because I've also ran across something that other accounts will do that are these faceless accounts, and all they're doing is collecting the trendy viral products, either putting them into a short little video that plays the pictures as if it were a video in clips, or they'll put them into what I call lazy carousels, where you swipe through all of these products. And then of course, those things are oh so helpfully linked for you in their TikTok shop. And that's a minimal effort way for them to sell things to you without even having to buy or try those products themselves. And what I want to do now is contrast those videos with this video that recently popped up in my feed here.
Welcome back to my Hotter and Healthier series, where I share all things health, wellness, and fitness. It's not just workouts to make you hot. These are 5 things you need to do to feel like that girl. Stop being so negative. You are never going to have a positive life if you have a negative attitude. Look good, feel good, get ready in the day, do your hair, do your makeup, put on a good outfit. Stop wasting special occasions to feel hot. Move your body, do something hard. Discipline is hot. You are your biggest investment. Always remember that. Progress over perfection, I will preach. Choose yourself and put yourself first and watch your life change for the better.
I actually agreed with almost everything she said in this video. The one thing that I somewhat take issue with is saying that you need to always have your hair and your makeup and everything done. I don't think that you need to do that every day. I personally follow a really low maintenance hair and beauty routine, and I can tell you that doing my hair and makeup and trying to make myself look good every single day is not worth my time or mental energy. But I do know people who like to feel put together and feel like they look nice throughout the day, and they're happy to spend hours doing that. So it just depends on your lifestyle and your values. I think that's a great example of hot girl summer done right, because glowing up and feeling hot and confident is more about what's on the inside and the inner discipline and confidence that we have versus the things that you can do to increase your attractiveness on the outside. But I like how she talks about moving your body and how a diet and exercise routine can complement that inner work instead of it being a means to an end only to achieve physical attractiveness. The next summer 2026 trend I'm not buying is crochet and sequin clothing. And all I can think about when I look at this stuff is landfill core, because a lot of people are going to buy this stuff, wear it once, and then throw it away. The thing about clothing like this is it's not easy to take care of, it's not easy to wash, and with sequins, they're not really made to last. They're honestly pretty cheap material, and the way that they're held together on clothes like this, they're gonna start falling off, and then you're gonna end up looking like that toxic childhood horror story that is the Rainbow Fish book. And I've been seeing so many people sharing haul videos of these clothes that are from fast fashion brands like Shein and Temu. Not only are you literally flushing money down the toilet, buying stuff that you're going to wear once or twice and then throw away, but also by sharing these things with your audience, you're encouraging other people to buy them as well, which floods the market with cheap clothes made of plastic that's going to break down into microplastics that are really bad for the environment and our bodies as well, to the point where nowadays science has found that most of us humans have about a credit card worth sized chunk of microplastics floating around in our brains. And then as far as crochet, especially the crochet pieces like the cover-ups that I've seen in some of these videos, the ones with the larger hole size, they snag really easily, they can get worn really easily and have things catch in them easily, especially if you're taking them off and stuffing them into your beach bag to go swimming. So I've just found that I prefer to invest my money in pieces that have longevity and are higher quality, which is why I no longer buy crochet and sequin clothing pieces. Next up, let's talk about the whimsy trend. And this is something that I've actually seen being discussed since spring, but it seems to be still going pretty strong. And a lot of my feed is filled with these videos talking about how to add more whimsy to your life and how to be more whimsical. So I think that this is a trend that's still going strong from spring into summer. And I feel like this trend might even have branched off from the analog trend that started picking up steam at the beginning of this year. And I actually did an entire video on the analog trend and why it's problematic, which I will link up here for you, as well as down in the description box below in case you want to check that out. And it might surprise you to know that as a minimalist, I don't hate the whimsy trend, but what I do dislike is the direction that it's heading. Because just like we've discussed on this channel before, there's no good trend that goes uncommodified under capitalism, and it looks like the whimsy trend is being hijacked to sell you more cheap junk, just like the analog trend and a lot of these other trends.
I just made a little orange cardamom iced latte and I thought it'd be fun to go through some of my favorites right now. I recently got this little strawberry shortcake little sticker book from Michael's. It's so cute. I have a confession though, I have yet to use a single sticker from it because I just stare at it and I think it's so precious.
So when I watch a lot of these videos, I see a lot of pastels and bright colors. There's a lot of baking, things like cookies and muffins and cakes, and there's a lot of drinking of things like tea and coffee and matcha, and it's all very aestheticized and whimsical, as they like to say. And after having seen a bunch of these videos popping up in my feed and on my For You page, I then had some videos show up on my YouTube feed where other creators were breaking down the whimsy trend and discussing it from their perspective on sustainability and culture and things like that. When I opened up one of those videos, one of the top comments on them was a comment that said, "I like its origin as a resistance to this bleak conformity of minimalism." But as a minimalist, I have to wholeheartedly disagree with that. And I think that's one of the biggest myths and misconceptions about minimalism, which is that minimalism is white and boring and you can't own anything, let alone be fun and whimsical. Which is why on my channel, I like to remind people that minimalism is a spectrum, and the type of minimalism that you practice is always going to be influenced by your own values and personal beliefs and lifestyle. So even though I'm a minimalist, I'm actually also a creative and deeply sentimental person. And a few examples of how I've personally found ways to add fun and whimsy to my life include having a vision board in front of me at my desk when I'm working there that makes me feel motivated and inspired. And then another way I also enjoy adding whimsy to our home is picking fresh flowers from our garden when they bloom and putting them in vases throughout our home. So lily of the valley happens to be my absolute favorite flower. And when they were blooming last week, I pulled out every single vase we had and put them in the various rooms throughout our house. And personally, I think both with the whimsy trend and with minimalism, the biggest problem isn't in the trend itself, it's getting wrapped up more in the aesthetic versus embracing the actual lifestyle and what it would look like for you to implement those things in a healthy and balanced way in your home and life. So instead of going out and buying all of these things that influencers are trying to convince you will add more whimsy to your life, look around your home and see what kinds of things you already own and what habits that already add joy and whimsy to your life, and embrace more of those. Number 4 on this list of summer trends I'm not buying is specialty ice and candy molds. And I feel like this is a micro trend within the whimsy trend, which could be a subcategory of the analog trend. We've got trends within trends within trends. It's trendception over here. This is definitely a trap that I fell into in the past because I wanted to be a fun mom. So I bought these silicone molds that were shaped like Legos and people. I don't even remember what kind of silicone molds I had, but I remember that I never used them a single time. And for me, they were more of a fantasy self item that were just too impractical and never got used. I've also seen people using these molds for fancy butter to put on their toast or pancakes. And for me, that just sounds like way too much time and energy input for too little return on investment or ROI. So I think the question you need to ask yourself here is, are you already a person who has made and enjoys making things like specialty ice or gummies or these fancy candies? The good thing about this is that it's easy to do experiments to see if this does fit your lifestyle. Like I saw this woman take this mini bundt cake or donut pan that she has and she put lemon inside with little flowers and mints and turned that into ice. Or I could see you even taking a muffin tin and doing the same. And with these gelatins and gummies, you can actually make those on flat pans and trays, or say little mini muffin pans or something like that, and see if you actually like that activity and enjoy those things before you go out and buy new specialty molds to do it instead. Trend number 5 on this list is bedazzled glassware, and this is a trend I saw popping up earlier in the year at stores like Target and Home Goods and Anthropologie, and it seems like what they've been doing is they've been cycling through kind of these little eye-catching little icons or images, as you might say. Depending on the season, they'll embed them into the glasses. So for example, in spring, it was more like flowers and pink things. And now what I'm seeing is like avocados and hot dogs. But to me, these glasses, when I held them in my hands, felt so flimsy and cheaply made. And I've seen quite a few videos where people had them break on them, not just when they were putting hot water into them, which they are not made for, but even while they were doing something as simple as washing them by hand in their sink. But just like with a lot of these glassware trends, I feel like these glasses are going to feel so outdated so fast. Like, just look at that Starbucks barista cup that everyone was going crazy over not that long ago. And now you never see anyone talking about or drinking out of those things anymore. And one minimalist habit or mindset shift that has really helped me avoid giving into impulse purchases like this has been to practice radical contentment for the things that I already have, because I already have beautiful glasses and coffee mugs in my house that work perfectly well for us. They're sturdy. So there's no reason that I would need to go out and buy other things to replace those. And I think adopting this mindset and embracing this idea of gratitude and contentment with the things that you already have is really important if you want to break out of the buy and declutter cycle that is so common nowadays. But speaking of glassware and the Starbucks barista cup, this is a good reminder that trends also come and go in the form of foods and drinks, which is why number 6 on this list is protein water, which is definitely something I was surprised to see go viral lately. If you look back across food trends, there have been some that are fairly normal, like the sourdough craze during the pandemic era, and then some that are more surprising if you go back to the 1950s and 60s and the salad jellos that were popular during that era. Right now, high protein seems to be having a moment, and we've gotten to the point where they're now starting to put it into water.
There's a sparkling water at Costco with 30 grams of protein in it. This is a blue raspberry lemonade flavor, and the Costco box has 15 12-ounce cans. I picked it up, and it's actually really good. You wouldn't even know it's a protein drink.
Let's make another stacked water of the day. Today's stacked water has 33 grams of protein with a strawberry lime flavor and an easy to drink, refreshing texture. As always, I'm starting off with collagen for 10 grams of protein and creatine, then adding water and mixing it until everything is dissolved. Then add lots of ice to keep it ice cold. Next, I'm taking 5 ripe fresh strawberries, add some water, blend it and strain it so the drink stays really smooth and easy to drink. I squeeze in the juice of half a lime for brightness. For the extra protein, I'm trying one of these Pure Genius strawberry guava protein shots from Mel Robbins. This adds another 23 grams of whey protein.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of find this tempting. Like, I found this video of this protein water with collagen in it that's being marketed as an alternative to the protein shakes. And since I've been trying to get in shape this year, that was one of my big goals for 2026. I have been trying to consume more protein, and not only does this look yummy, but it also sounds like it could potentially be a good thing. But then you also have to ask yourself how much of this is actually backed by science and how much of it is marketing and hype.
Seeing these new sparkling clear protein waters. Can I actually get good protein out of water? What is protein water? I gotta check this out. Clear water protein. And it's grass-fed. Let's be clear. This isn't like any protein you've ever tried. It's smooth yet tingles the taste buds. Why are we so set on trying to hack health foods?
And it's not just doctors that are calling this out. I've also seen high-level athletes like Olympians discussing this trend as well.
Stop putting protein powder in everything you eat. You're not a bodybuilder. You don't need it. Eat real food.
Everything is like trying to be high protein.
Yeah.
And we could just like eat a hard-boiled egg, get some protein in. Like, we don't need to just like smack protein powder into everything.
I have a high protein diet, but I also have like probably the highest carb diet.
Love that.
Ever. And I was raised on a very high carb diet. And carbs are really the energy that you need. That's science, truly.
My concern is we're trying to pretend like when we blend up some cottage cheese and put it in the freezer, that it tastes like ice cream. You get what I'm saying?
Don't lie to yourself.
Eat a couple scoops of ice cream. It's okay.
It's okay.
Then eat a hard-boiled egg for your protein.
Right.
I think it's great that she calls out that you don't just need protein, you also need carbs. And I think the most important thing is that everything needs to be in balance. And also the idea that it's a lot better to get your protein from real foods versus trying to get them from all of these drinks and supplements. I guess if you have the budget for this and it seems interesting and yummy to you and you are trying to consume more protein, you know, maybe you could go for it. but I personally decided I'm not gonna buy into any of these protein waters, and I'm just gonna try to get my protein through the foods that I eat. The seventh thing I'm not buying on this list is any anti-cellulite treatments. And this is something that always seems to be trending as we transition into summer. And look, I get it. I've struggled with cellulite since I was in my late teens and early 20s, and I spent tons of money and poured a lot of time and energy researching hacks and products that would help me get rid of my cellulite. But after a lot of trial and error, I learned the hard way that the only things that actually made a difference for me were diet and exercise. No joke, I recently went from a 27.3% body fat to a 19% body fat and dropped 12 pounds of fat while changing my body composition to increase my skeletal muscle mass. And that is the only time that I've seen a noticeable change in the cellulite. None of these dry brushes or these anti-cellulite wraps or these gimmicks and gadgets and gizmos did anything for my cellulite. And I've even seen bad advice out there, like AI videos about how to make a coffee scrub to rub on your cellulite when you're in the shower. And please, please, please do not do that, because it's really, really bad for your drains when you pour coffee grounds down them, especially if you combine those coffee grounds with soaps, oils, and shed hairs. I did see this one interesting video of an older woman, I think that she said she's in her 70s, who says that she has been using a vacuum cleaner or a dust buster on the cellulite on her legs, which I thought was an interesting hack. I'm not sure if she was really joking or not about this. I don't know, maybe it might work. Would you try to use a dust buster or a vacuum cleaner on your legs to reduce cellulite? Let me know down in the comment section below if anyone has ever tried this or would try this. Number 8 on this list is trendy and colorful flip-flops. And this is another thing that might seem really practical and functional for the summer. But the thing you have to know about flip-flops is they're actually really bad for your feet because they don't have a lot of arch support and they're much less stable. So you put yourself at a higher risk of having a twisted ankle. And according to doctors, they can also cause poor alignment and bad posture that can lead to back and knee problems, which is something I absolutely do not need to deal with. So I make sure to choose summer shoes that have more arch support so that I don't run into any of these problems. And I would encourage you to do the same. Next up, we have expensive luggage upgrades. And I think this is another thing that starts trending going into summer because people want to travel more, people want to take vacations. And in some cases, certain brands have almost become like status symbols. For example, this one brand of luggage that markets itself as high-end luggages and retails anywhere from $975 all the way up to over $3,000. Even though I consider myself a frugal minimalist, I'm not against buying high quality brands that might be on the more expensive side, because while I try to be frugal and take advantage of sales and bargains when I can, I'm also not against spending a little bit more to be able to buy it for life. Like the Vivienne Westwood saying goes, buy less, choose well, make it last. But the problem that I've seen with some of these expensive luggage brands is that you're paying that premium and the buy it for life price tag without it actually being high quality. And one of the things that I've seen these expensive luggage companies do is offer lifetime warranties on their luggages. But when you see the hoops that these people have to jump through in order to get reimbursed or to get their luggages replaced, I think it really might make you reconsider investing in those kinds of pieces. I definitely would never spend that much money on luggage because I've seen how airline employees treat luggages when they're moving them around the airport. And I've also seen claims that this brand is known for getting damaged really, really easily. And it's gotten to the point where people are actually making products where you can highlight the damage on your Rimowa to show its patina.
This right here is my $2,000 Rimowa suitcase, and unfortunately, airlines love to absolutely destroy it. But what if instead of crying about it, it was something I actually celebrated? And that's exactly why I designed the Rimowa Incident Report Log. It's a premium hardcover sticker book for documenting every single one of those unfortunate travel moments. Because even Rimowa says dents and scratches are part of the suitcase's patina. So the next time you're traveling and your bag comes off the conveyor belt with a little extra damage, you can simply turn to a fresh page, write down all of the flight details, rip it out, and stick it directly on the suitcase, pointing right at the damage so you never forget which adventure it came from.
Most of the luggage that we have is 10 years old, if not older, and has helped us move overseas to China, to Germany, and back again several times. So I am confident that this stuff has stood the test of time, and I don't need to replace it with anything that doesn't even necessarily seem that much better, let alone is going to be more expensive. And if you've been tempted to buy one of these expensive luggages, I would encourage you to ask yourself, are you buying something because of the perceived status that comes along with it? Or are you buying something because you want it to serve a function and for the utility of the thing? And if you're buying it for utility, you probably don't need to spend that much money investing in a piece like this and would be better off buying something else versus if you're trying to buy something for the perceived status that it will get you, and then that's another conversation altogether. And then finally, last on this list, we have pool and beach bag stuffers. And by that, I mean things like beach towels, picnic blankets, and bog bag paraphernalia. And I have to say, this is another one of those things that I get super tempted by even as a minimalist, because I love, love, love going to the pool and the beach. And there's nothing better than a huge cozy towel or a nice picnic blanket to sit on and a big bag to haul all the stuff I need as a busy mom. However, I have a beach bag and picnic blanket that I've owned for years, and I still love them just as much as I did when I bought them over 10 years ago. And we don't need towels because the pool that we go to actually provides towels for us. So knowing this and having this mindset allows me to intentionally own less, which not only saves me money, but also helps keep my home clutter free. And if you want to hear more about how I brainwash myself to love spending less and saving more, be sure and go check out one of these videos that YouTube thinks that you'll like, or I'll see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.